When you see the whole world shaking and you feel your heart is breaking, take my hand, no hesitating. Oh, when you're just so tired of trying, all alone you feel like hiding. Together we'll keep fighting. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't stop now. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna mountains too high we can climb it. Feel this, we're taking the moment. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Can you see the sun is shining like a new hope? Feel it rising, coming over the horizon. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't stop now. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna mountains too high we can climb it. Feel this, we're taking the moment. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. There's no stopping.
Good evening, and welcome to Real Estate with Mr. G. And I hope you are doing well. Let me see if I just need testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, I hope everything is going well. I'm on the Q9. Okay. I think we're good now. All right. It's Saturday evening, May 1st. We're in May. Summer is almost here. The weather is getting warmer. It was a little chilly today, but the weather is getting warmer. People are getting their vaccine shots. Less people are getting COVID-19. And if you haven't gotten your shot, I think you should. So we get this all beat and we could move on with our lives and do the things we like to do. So that's our little pitch for today. To start off the show. And let's see, what are we going to talk about today? And this is going to be a very important episode because I actually have a lot of people looking, and I've been showing properties, and we go out, and my people would like to take a day to think about it, and you can't. And they're even telling you, when I say they, listing agents, when you go to open houses, they'll say, we'll take highest and best by tomorrow. So they're already predicting multiple offers, and they're giving the deadlines. If you're thinking about it, think fast and do your best right now. And a lot of people, which is not a good idea, are foregoing the home inspection, which I'm not recommending. And the reason why I know that, well, through talking to other agents, to when I'm looking up properties for my people to see. And what happens is that, they'll see it yesterday and it was available. And when I look it up that evening or the next morning, it says pending. Now, usually it doesn't go to pending right when the contract goes in. If there's a contingency on it, such as, and the most popular one is the home inspection, you have a ratified contract, but it's contingent upon a mutually agreed upon home repair list. Let me put it that way. You're doing a home inspection, like people say, oh, if it's a successful home inspection, the home inspector will always find something wrong with the house, okay? Whether it's, the kitchen outlet is not wired correctly, they'll always find something, all right? But basically, the home inspection, once it's completed, we put together a form when we're representing the buyer, and it's called the Property Inspection Contingency Removal Addendum. That means this form will remove this home inspection contingency if we are agreed upon all repairs. Now, there might not be any repairs needed, and you say, hey, the house is fine, I'm just signing to take it off, okay? Most of the time, and when that happens, that will be when proper English, an investor is looking at a house. And they just want to make sure there's nothing super major wrong with the house. Most likely, they're going to renovate it, flip it, and put it back on the market, or they might rent it. Okay, but they just want to make sure there's, they see from the exterior, they could get an idea what's wrong with the house, but they really don't know about the bones of the house, like going under in the crawl space, looking for structure damage, looking for termite damage, and see how bad that is, okay? So they might say, well, I'm going to do that. I mean, I know how much I want to spend on repairs, but if it's a whole lot, if I got to, rebuild the foundation of the house, I'm not doing that. So they'll do that, and basically, if they say, okay, I could take care of these repairs, and they just signed off of it. But usually when you have an owner-occupant, someone who's going to buy it to live there, there will be some things they will request for the seller to fix. All right? And it's negotiation. So the buyer may say, hey, can you steam the carpets? And the seller's, all right, I'll do that. And then they might say, hey, the cabinets in the kitchen, a little kilter, if you could. They say, if you could do that, I'm not going to. And it's a negotiation back and forth. And you basically, again, as a contract, you mutually agreed upon all repairs, or what repairs will be done by the seller, and you signed off of it, and then you're full steam ahead to the closing, okay? So when the house goes in contract, it still shows active to the consumer, which are you guys, when you're looking at, whether it's on my website, which I hope you're looking at it on my website, realestatewithmrg.com, all right? It will show active. But as an agent, I'm able to go in there and see the contingency on it. It'll say like home inspection. And so I know it's in contract, but it's waiting to get that home inspection contingency off. They had to ratify contract. They made an appointment with a home inspector. Okay. And once that goes off, that's when it should go to pending. And then the consumer will no longer see it on Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, and so forth. Okay, so but now I see it go quickly into the pending status, and I have not seen that before. This is happening now, and again, I could send you reports or post it on my blog where it's not recommended to do that. The only time I would recommend not doing the home inspection, if you're in a lot of people are competing it, if you just happen to have a heck of a lot of money, and if you have to do like $30,000 repairs, if it doesn't bother you, you say I'm fine with that, then okay, But a lot of people don't have that much money for repairs. I mean, some do, I guess, but you don't want to go in a situation where all of a sudden you find out you really bought a lemon. All right. So I still recommend to do the home inspection, and let's go on to. I put in my little captions, and here we have patience is the key when buying in today's market. So what does that mean? Well, it might take a little bit longer now because you go out to see some properties. First of all, the properties you ask your agent to show, hopefully me, and I look at it and I say, well, it's already in contract, and that's happening a lot. So it's going to take a little bit longer now to find a house. Now, I'm actually going to jump down to one of my captions that I added, but we had a live stream episode on this and being prepared. And first of all, and I misspelled. Ugh, I hate when I do that. Like I was a teacher, and I don't like boo-boos like that. Let me fix that right now. You didn't see this part, okay? Okay. So let me save that. Okay. So, and then I'm going to show it. Oh, that's the wrong one. Okay, but okay. Well, we got. Okay. Little technical difficulties. So be well prepared. Get pre-qualified now. And I've said this for so many episodes. I have so many people that say, "Well, when I find a house, I'll get. Why bother now? Let me get find the house first." And then I'll get pre-qualified. No, it's always been no. And especially now, no. Get your pre-qualification now. Because even if you have good credit and, yeah, I could get it the next day, there's already contracts in for that offer that have been sent with the pre-qualification. And the seller has it. He goes, I'm not going to wait. I got, a bird in hand is better than two in the bush. I'm going to go with this contract. All right. So you need that pre-qualification now. And that's assuming you could be pre-qualified right away, which, most people are. I'm not saying anything negative here. But in case there's something you need to do beforehand to be pre-qualified, if you have to push up your score a little bit, and you need a month to do that. I'm working with a person who's doing everything he can do now to up it, so we could start looking actually like this week. He's biting at the bit. He wants to go out there looking at homes. So he just had to get some things paid off, and he did that this month, and he's ready to shoot ahead. Okay, so get that pre-qualified now. Don't say, let's, Mr. G, let's look at some houses first. No. You got to be pre-qualified now. Because once we see that house, I got to go right away and send that offer. And I got to type it up. You got to sign it. I got to sign it. And we got to get it off. All right. So get pre-qualified now. And when I say patience, was the topic hidden, but not patience with that. You get that done now, the pre-qualification. This way, once you see that house, we could put in the contract immediately. All right. So, what's the other I'm going to show in a minute, and we'll use it as a review. It's talking about how we really need new construction, and new construction is happening right now. It was slowed up because of COVID-19. Workers were getting sick; they had to stay home. Some factories where I'm going now with supplies, but I'm going back to the builders. You had people who were sick, who got sick, they didn't show up for work. There was a big slow up with that. There's a big demand, and the prices have soared for wood. All right. So again, why? Because workers in these factories, some of them shut down during the height of COVID-19. Some worked with a very limited staff. And the simple key principle of economics, when you have a small supply or inventory, prices go up, right? It's with wood, and it's also with homes. We have a small inventory of homes, and prices are going up. All right. So what's happening though, and it's all this part of capitalism, this is the good thing about capitalism. The builders see the need for new housing, and they're building it. So what we're hoping, there will be new housing for people who are looking, and also for the people who are holding on to their homes, and they say, well, gee, let me look at this new construction, have everything new in the house, and I'll put my home on the market. All right, so it's going to help in two ways. Once this new construction, it started and it continues. And part of Biden's bill, which we'll talk more about that, is to maybe even have government-sponsored new construction, which might be helpful. I don't want to go into a political discussion with that right now. It will create more jobs. They most likely will be working for the government, which is fine for me. But maybe in areas where we need more housing, where maybe some developers won't venture into. I think President Biden wants to build more affordable housing. And good money could be made from that as well, Just a little side note, and I got to make sure I stay on track, but a little side note, when cars were first made, they were extremely, extremely expensive. So only the wealthy could purchase cars. And Henry Ford had the idea, there's a much bigger middle market, right? Middle income people to buy cars. And let's reach that market. So I'm going to try to mass produce the cars, but lower the price. And, so he sold the cars to people with middle incomes. And of course, he made a fortune, all right, by reaching out. So you could make money making luxury cars with a small audience, and you can make money making, middle price cars with a larger audience, right? So there's nothing wrong with builders going in and buying or building average price homes. They all don't have to be luxury homes. When I was living in Brooklyn and new construction was going on, everything was luxury condos, luxury co-ops, And I'm saying, what about the hardworking Joe and Jane? Do they all have to, eat peanut butter and Rice Krispies every day of their life to afford a new home? So that's a whole other topic. Okay, but what's happening, which is good, that this new construction is going on. I personally believe, I haven't found reports on this yet. And I'm just saying this based upon going into the multiple listing service every day, looking for properties for my clients. And a lot of my clients I have on what's called concierge look, meaning that before the listing goes out to them, I look them over. And I'm seeing more listings hitting the market on a daily basis. Now, it may not be so big to really say, hey, it's shifting right now, and it's not going to be immediately a buyer's market, but more homes be going on. But I'm seeing it creep up a little bit. And I really believe once we're at the end of the tunnel and the bright sunshine, that the people who are holding onto their homes because of COVID-19 will stop putting them on the market. That's my vision. I'm hoping I'm right, because we really need listings. That's what will happen once we get completely, or I know we might always have to deal with this COVID-19 like the common flu, but once we have it more under control and less people getting sick. So I believe that more homes will hit the market once that happens. We talked about this last week when we talked about are we having a housing bubble, where like in 2007, where the bubble burst and a lot of homes were foreclosed. And I don't think that's happening right now. But the article I showed last week on how to increase inventory, and there's different talks about of how to do that. So they're talking about higher taxes on rental income. In other words, owners or landlords of single family homes, not multiple units, like a building with 4 apartments in there, or an apartment complex, excuse me, but someone who's like renting out a house, they may be taxed more, which will give them an incentive to sell the house. I'm having this situation right now with a family member. They're actually moving to San Diego because the spouse is in the military, and instead of the house being rented where they're living in right now, the owner is not going to take another renter. They're just going to sell the house, and a lot of them are just selling it too because they're going to make a heck of a lot more money now, and they don't want to be bothered with renting. All right, so this may be a way of loosening up more of the single family homes by taxing the owners more who own these type of properties, right? They're single family homes, whereas someone has purchased a property and then rented them out. And also, once they're sold, there's a less capital gains tax on the properties, on the investment properties that they sell. So this is kind of like stimulating people to sell these type of homes. We're beginning to see mortgage rates creep up a little bit. It's still pretty good. Pretty good, as Larry David would say. But they're going to begin to creep up. It's possible less people will be looking for homes. Homes will stay on the market a bit longer. You don't have to have this crazy competition to win the offer. So that hopefully will happen. And well, I'm not saying hopefully the mortgage rates go up. I don't want them to go up really high, but hopefully if they inch up a little bit, houses will stay a little bit more on the market. It may help, it may not help. Okay, we will have to see. And what I wanted to do as well, I'll show let me bring my graphic in here right now. Patience is the key. And I realize when I move this up and down, I have to come right back because then you don't hear me. I'm still here. Okay. All right. Part of this article here I wanted to bring up, even before the COVID-19 current recession, which we're getting out of, the housing market was facing a substantial supply shortage, and that deficit has grown. They're showing how much it's grown. look at the last paragraph. To catch up to current demand, Freddie Mac estimates we need to build almost 4 million homes. The good news is builders are working hard to get there, the U.S. Bureau states. So as I stated before, the builders are out there and they're pushing to, because they're going to make good money once the houses are built. So this is a little bit of a good news here too. This is good news, is that the March figure of 1.74 million housing starts is the highest in 14 years. Both single-family units and multifamily units ramped up. After 13 straight years of underproduction, the chief cause for today's inventory shortage, this construction boom needs to last for at least 3 years to make up for the part shortfall. As trade-up buyers purchase newly construction homes, their prior homes will show up in the MLS, and hence more choices for consumers. Housing starts to housing completion could be 4 to 8 months, so be patient with the improvement to inventory. And in the meantime, construction workers deserve cheers, hip hip hooray. All right. So there's a lot of construction going on in Hampton. The ones I'm looking at, I'm seeing the word rentals. I'm praying that's part of that complex, may be condo. Back up in Brooklyn, we had a lot of co-ops. We don't have that much here. There's co-ops more in the Virginia Beach area. But, you know, I like to see people have home ownership. So I just hope that these areas that they're building, where I see construction going on, will also be able, will be purchases where people are buying townhouses, condos, co-ops. That's what I'm hoping to see in this area. Okay. All right. Now, being that we were talking so much about homes going on the market, let's see this little video here. And it is a little video. Okay, let me get this out of the way here. My caption, so it makes more room. And let's watch this little video on making my house shine. Okay, so make your house shine, and this is actually pretty good. I always like to keep these around 30 minutes. We're right now at 29 minutes. But I'm hearing that my producer found a vintage film on preparing your house for sale. I think it's from the 1957. It's on a reel, it's on the projector, but it's very helpful. We're going to show that. We're going to end the program with that. So in the meantime, be safe, wear your mask. If you haven't gotten vaccinated yet, I think you should. Wash your hands, keep distance, and be kind to each other. As I always say, the greatest power we have is to love. The greatest gift is each other. Okay, let's see that film.
Chris, great news. We were able to find an old vintage film from the archives of the Virginia Real Estate Association. Made in 1957. It is an educational film in black and white that teaches one how to prepare his or her home for sale. It has a lot of great tips. We will load the film up on our old projector and show. Enjoy.